You've got a critical opening on your team. The work is piling up. Your best people are getting stretched thin. Your leaders are covering gaps they should never have to. And every day that seat stays open, that pressure gets worse. So you post the job, you wait for applicants, you review the resumes, and then comes the part nobody really wants to actually say. The person you actually want to hire is probably not in that pool of applicants. So now you're not hiring the best person for the job, you're settling for the best of who showed up. And that is not the same thing, because the candidate you want to hire is probably not looking for a job. They're not scrolling job boards, they're not refreshing LinkedIn, they might never see your job posting. They're at work right now running someone else's operation, leading someone else's team, and doing it really well. So if that person is not looking, how do you find them? And more importantly, how do you get them interested enough to talk to you? That's what we're talking about today. I'm Renee Fry, and this is Building Your High-Performing Team, where we help you hire smarter, reduce turnover, and drive business results so you can finally sleep at night. For proven strategies to hire better and build teams that last, hit subscribe. We drop new insights every single week. Now, let's talk about the mistake I see companies make all the time. They build their hiring strategy around whoever applies. They post the role, they wait, they work through the applicant pool, they interview the strongest people in that group. And then they try to convince themselves the best person in that pile is the best person for the job. But most of the time, that is not what's happening. They're not hiring the best person for the job. They're settling for the best of who showed up. And in leadership hiring, especially in manufacturing, distribution, operations, maintenance, engineering, and supply chain, the person you really want is usually already employed. They're performing, they're trusted, they're busy, they're leading people, they're solving problems, they're getting results for someone else, and they're not looking for you. So if your whole hiring strategy depends on that person applying, you're probably never going to reach them. This is where you have to stop waiting and start recruiting. And I don't mean posting the job and reviewing the applicants. I mean real recruiting. Real recruiting is identifying the people who are already doing the job well somewhere else, reaching out to them directly, giving them a reason to have a conversation with you. Because the best hire usually is not sitting in your applicant pool. A job posting is built to attract. You put it out there and you wait for people to come to you. And that works for people who are actively looking. But the strongest operation leaders usually aren't actively looking. So attracting doesn't reach them. Intentional recruiting does. Not random outreach, not posting and praying, not hoping the right person happens to see your opening. Intentional recruiting means you're being proactive. You know who you're looking for. You know where they're working. And you know why they would even consider a conversation with you. So what does that actually look like? First, assume the right person will not apply. This belief alone changes your entire hiring strategy. If you go into the search assuming the best person will come through your applicant tracking system, you build your process around waiting for applications, waiting for resumes, waiting for someone great to raise their hand. But your business can't wait. You have products to ship, customers to serve, teams to lead, problems to solve. And while you're sitting there waiting for the right person to apply, that person is probably already working somewhere else. So instead of starting with who's applied, start with where is the person we really need already working? That is 10 times a stronger question, because now you're not just reacting to the applicant pool, you're building a search around the person who can actually succeed and take your business further. Second, know exactly who you're trying to recruit. Most companies do this backwards. They post the job, collect resumes, and decide who looks closest to what they need. But a strategic search starts before the applications come in. And this is where I have so much empathy for HR teams, especially the HR generalists inside manufacturing and distribution facilities. They are wearing so many hats. They're handling employee relations, benefits questions, onboarding, compliance, performance issues, turnover, investigations, training, and whatever else walks through the door that day. And over the years, I cannot tell you how many times I've talked with HR leaders at facilities who tell me recruiting is their least favorite part of the job. Not because they don't care, but because true recruiting takes time. It takes research, it takes outreach, it takes follow-up, it takes messaging, it takes getting people to respond when they weren't looking for a new role in the first place. And when someone is already carrying a full HR workload, it's really hard to run a proactive search for someone who may never apply. So before you go out and start recruiting, you got to get really clear on who you're actually trying to recruit. You need to know exactly what kind of person can win in your environment. What does the person need to have done before? What type of experience are they bringing to the table? What kind of operation do they need to be coming from? Have they led through growth? Have they stabilized a struggling team? Have they improved safety, quality, productivity, or accountability? Have they led in a union environment or non-union environment? Have they managed multiple shifts? Have they worked in a highly automated facility? Have they dealt with the same kind of complexity that your business has? Because you're not just filling a seat, you're solving a business problem. And the clearer you are about the problem, the easier it is to identify the person who has already solved something similar somewhere else. And once you know the kind of person you need, the next question becomes simple. Where do people like that work right now? Maybe they're at a competitor. Maybe they're at a larger company in a similar industry. Maybe they're at a company known for developing strong leaders. Maybe they're over at a facility like 2 miles away that everyone knows is extremely well run. That's where your real recruiting strategy starts. Not your inbox, not your applicant pool, but out in the market with people who are already doing the job well. Third, you got to give them a reason to take the call or respond to the email or the LinkedIn message. This is the part companies often miss because when someone applies, you're screening them. They raise their hand. They want to be considered. You're deciding if they're the right fit. But when someone's not looking, the posture is completely different. They already have a job. They might be doing really well. They might have loyalty to their team. They might not have any reason to take your call. So you're not starting as the gatekeeper. You're starting by earning the conversation. And that means you need to know why your opportunity is worth their attention. Is it more growth, more impact, stronger leadership team, better culture, chance to build something, larger scope, company that's investing, a problem they would be excited to solve? Strong people do not move just because you have an opening. They move because the opportunity is worth interrupting their life for. And once they're interested, you better be ready because employed candidates are taking a risk when they're talking to you. They don't want their current employer finding out. They don't want to be dragged through a slow, disorganized interview process. And they definitely don't want to spend weeks in limbo with no feedback. If you want to hire someone who's not looking, you've got to respect their time and protect their confidentiality. That means your process needs to be ready before you even approach them. Who needs to be in the interviews? Who's going to give feedback? Who approves compensation? Who makes the final decision on the hire? How fast can you move if the right person is interested? Because strong candidates will not wait around while your company figures out its own process. The companies that win these candidates are usually the ones that are clear, fast, confident, and prepared. So here's the takeaway for today. The candidate you want to hire probably won't apply. They're at work, they're leading a team, they're solving problems, they are getting results, and they are valuable to someone else. So if you want them, you can't wait for them to find you. You got to go and find them. That means assuming the right person will not apply, knowing exactly who you're trying to recruit, knowing where those people work, and give them a reason to take the call or respond to your message, moving quickly and protecting their confidentiality, because hiring the best person is not usually about getting more applicants. It's about getting access to the right people. And that requires a completely different strategy. This is a huge part of what we do at Talent Queue. People assume search firms post jobs and collect resumes. Some might, but we don't do that. We do not build job searches around job posting. The real work is recruiting. It's knowing where the strong people are. It's knowing how to reach them. It's knowing how to get them in a conversation when they weren't looking. And it's helping companies compete for the people they could not have reached on their own. So if you take one thing from this episode, take this. The candidate you want to hire probably won't apply. They're already employed. They're already performing. They're already doing great, valuable work somewhere else. And if you want them, you have to go get them. And if you're going to go get them and it's more than your team can take on, that's where we come in. That's the whole job here at Talent Queue. If this resonated, share it with another hiring leader who's serious about building stronger teams. And if you're ready to fill a critical role or strengthen your leadership pipeline, visit talentq.net, where exceptional companies meet exceptional people. I'm Renee Fry, and this has been Building Your High-Performing Team. When your team is dialed in, that's when leadership feels effortless. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.